Hello inspiring Charitam fans. How are you doing? We bring stories that are unique and inspirational. This story is about a woman who finds out that she cannot be the only one to cheating in a relationship. It is about the realization that a relationship might be bad, but cheating just makes it worse. Faye and Mike were married young. They had the teenage love story and were head over heels for each other. They were just 21 when they got married. Well, honestly, that is not the perfect age to get married. People do change during the 20s, but that does not mean it cannot be worked out. If two people are in love, they can withstand any storm and any change. But the love of Faye for Mike wasn't enough. Even though they didn't have many problems in their marital life, they struggled for smaller things. When they both were 26, they tried to be pregnant, and that is when everything started falling apart. After few months of trying, Faye could not get pregnant, and she was upset. She spoke to Mike and they both went to the doctor. They had the advice that stress could be one of the reasons and asked them to go for fertility tests. Faye, however, had other ideas. She convinced Mike to drop the idea of having children for a year and two. She suggested that both of them can work on their marriage and stress levels. Mike agreed to the proposal, and they decided to have more romantic dates and gateways to find the spark back. But during the same time, Faye met Rob, a handsome young man in her office. Rob was single and found Faye charming. Faye started confiding in Rob about her issues and even brought up the failed attempts of pregnancy. Rob convinced her that Mike wasn't man enough to get her pregnant. Even though initially she found that answer weird, but slowly she started to believe Rob and they started getting closer. Instead of working on the marriage, as she promised Mike, she started having an affair with Rob. She kept convincing Mike that they would talk about the child later and denied him any intimacy for a long time. Her web of lies was exposed when she got pregnant. There was no chance to convince Mike that the child was his because they were not intimate for over 6 months at that point. So, passing the affair baby wasn't an option for her. She tried the other trick, the one-night stand. When she confessed to Mike about a made-up story on one-night stand, a heartbroken Mike asked her so many questions and eventually, she could not keep up with her lies. Over the next few weeks, her lies were exposed. Mike was willing to work on the marriage only if she gave up the child. Abortion was out of the question. Faye wanted to keep the baby and involve Rob in their lives as well. She promised him that she did end the affair. Well, guess what? Mike didn't fall for this. Mike was a good guy. He wasn't a smooth talker like Rob, but he was a man of integrity. He, however, was deeply in love with Faye and was leaning towards reconciliation even after the utter disrespect and betrayal. However, his brother stood beside him and helped him realize the situation. His poor decisions would have made him pay the child support for 18 years and in the hook for raising someone else's baby. Faye insulted Mike by saying that he wasn't a man to be a father and just suck it up. At least, he could become a father thanks to Rob. Mike was disgusted to see Faye, his first love, talking like this. He was so brutally crushed and devastated that he could not even go outside his house. Faye eventually moved out with Rob. Mike filed for divorce and it was finalized after 6 months, days before the child was born. Rob owned up for the child, so there was no confusion about the paternity. Mike was sitting on the couches of the therapists for hours for the next year. He changed jobs, sold the house, and moved with his brother. He was living with his brother's family, in their basement. His confidence as a person was in the garbage. He could not even come out of his own prison. His career took a plunge and he remained jobless for months. His brother and sister-in-law, however, proved that everyone in the world is not a sorry excuse for a human being. They were so loving to him and just took care of him. During his depression, job loss, and at his lowest point when he considered harming himself, they were the reasons he wanted to get out of bed. Do you know what is the most beautiful thing about time? It changes. Yes, Time changed. Mike slowly recovered. His sister-in-law introduced him to one of her cousins, Amanda. She was a strong woman. Amanda was one such person who infuses energy in people. Her presence had the vibes. She felt terrible for Mike. She was a yoga enthusiast. Initially, she didn't have any such interest in Mike. Mike's sister-in-law wanted Amanda to help Mike to get out of the depression through yoga. Amanda started helping Mike with yoga and they started connecting. Mike was thrilled and soon became a yoga enthusiast as well. With Amanda's constant encouragement and motivation, he opted for a yoga instructor certificate as well. Over the next couple of years, Mike and Amanda were the sweetest yoga instructor couple in the town. They bought a small house together near the same area as Mike's brother. Both the families are very close. Mike is engaged and Amanda just gave birth to their beautiful daughter. They have a big lawn garden where they host people for yoga sessions. Mike never would have thought he could be happy again, forgot about being on top of the world, couple of years back. Faye, who stayed in her affair fog for close to 6 months or so after the divorce was finalized, started realizing what she had done. Rob was just a manipulative liar and abusive. He didn't care about Faye and not their son. Faye went far too long and there was no coming back from there. Few months into cohabiting with Rob, she realized that she was just a side action for Rob. Yeah, he was cheating all along. Rob was kind of straightforward when she confronted him. He said, he never knew they were in a relationship. He said she was in a relationship with her ex-husband and Rob was her affair partner. There were no talks of being exclusive or relationship or love for that matter between them. Rob was cold and told her that he chose to be with her because she was carrying his son, and that was it. He would never get married to someone who cheated on their so he could be the next one in the future. Faye was shocked and lost her words. She remembered the horrible things she did to Mike. She realized that she was not the only one capable of doing it. Rob left soon after that, and only have some visitations with his son. Faye is a single mother and dates around, but she isn't in any relationship. She saw Amanda and Mike a number of times, and only regrets things that she has done to that man. She never approached him to apologize, because there was no point. She put her through misery and Amanda helped her get back on his feet. Faye would move on in life as well. Maybe she would find someone again, and she would value it. But life does not give too many chances to people. She already took so many things for granted and we could only hope that she had learned her lessons. What do you think about the story? Please share the feedback and your suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get a notification whenever a new video is uploaded. Please check the other videos in the channel too. Stay healthy and happy. Have a great rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching.